moving on to the second piece of DLC, the Hero's Path mode, which is kind of odd. It's not something I would have thought about, but after reading on it, it looks like it's kind of a cool idea. That way, because I'm sure a lot of people go on the same path all of the time whenever they're trying to get to a location, so this will be a way to be like, okay, I've taken this path from point A to point B, what if I take this path instead? And then you come across some areas that you may not been to. So it's called Hero's Path mode, and Nintendo says, this new map feature shows the path Link has walked through Hyrule from the last 200 hours of gameplay. Use the time tracker bar to see where you've spent the most time and where you have yet to explore. There's bound to be more adventure and maybe a shrine or two on the road less traveled. So, and then it has Link paragliding with a Moblin? Is that? With the...
Oh, that doesn't come until...
Oh, that's later. It's the video first with the little tracker.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that's the picture under it. Alright, sorry everybody. But yeah,
you spoiled it.
Damn you, Jesse!
Yeah. So, with the Hero's Path mode, it makes me think, whenever you get the DLC, is it already going to track the past 200 hours, or is it just going to begin when you get the DLC? I think a good way Nintendo could get around this, because the DLC of Hero's Path mode had to have been implemented in the game before. That way the game knows how or when to keep track of where you walk, because I don't think that's a feature that most games would have in it otherwise. So unless, like the most recent patch, if they implemented it in the code to where it does keep track, it just doesn't tell you yet, then that would be a good way, so whenever it comes out, it automatically has your last 200 hours. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Starting with you, Holly.
I think it feels kind of useless, but then you kind of think about it and you're like, oh, well, okay, it tracks your 200 hours of gameplay. It is good in the sense of like, okay, I've clearly never been to this area of the map. I'm going to go explore that. And then, you know, you mark it up with the little, was it a green line that shows the tracker? I think it's green. But I do think it could be useful. I remember, Jesse, you saying like one time on Twitter DM or something, you like DM'd me and you were watching one of my Zelda streams and you were like, you went to 5 places that I've never been yet. Where are those places? And I was just running around doing nothing, like just hanging out, playing the game. So I think it's smart in that sense, because you will be able to be like, oh, I've never been to this spot, and that spot could have something super cool, or like an awesome weapon, or whatever. So it's useful. I hope you can turn it off, though. You can turn it off, right, in the map?
So, I'm sure you have to activate it.
Because I'm like, could you imagine just having a wonderful hot mess of a map every time you go into it?
Right. There are other features in Breath of the Wild now that you can turn on or off, like the amiibo functionality. I think you can turn off the special abilities. So I'm sure it will be something you can turn on or off.
Good God, if it wasn't, that'd be hilarious.
With you, Joseph, is this a good idea? What are your thoughts on it?
This is a great idea, especially if you were like me recently and decided to bite the bullet and look up a walkthrough to find the last 15 shrines. That like took a hit on my pride that I had to do that. So I wish that came out sooner, because it's like, okay, so it knows where I haven't been, so there's more than definitely a shrine in one of those places, or a Korok seed. But my irk is, A, it should have come out sooner, B, this is the one thing that should have been free in the DLC thing. Everyone should have gotten this for free, I feel like. I don't, honestly, like, this is a free feature. This is nothing you'd want to pay money for, honestly.
Alright, and you, Mr. Gehab.
Yes, I absolutely agree with Joseph on the fact that it should have definitely been free. It's just, I don't know, I feel like this is just such a, like, it's a cool feature. I think it's great, but I definitely think it should not be paid for. But I do like it a lot, because it's definitely, I was in the same boat as Joseph as well with, I just looked up a walkthrough of the last, like, 10 quests I couldn't find, as well as the shrines, because I could not find them.
Yeah.
And I really would have preferred to actually, you know, find the areas myself and be like, oh, hey, I haven't actually been here, because I have like 205 hours on the game now. So I would have actually been able to track those hours and see where I haven't been. So it's a very useful feature, and I'm very excited. You know, I know a lot of my friends are going to be getting this game soon, so it's going to be cool when they get it. They'll be able to use this, and actually they won't need to use a guide. And I know Nintendo specified that they want to have people explore without going up and looking up stuff on the internet. So this is definitely going to help with that.
And it's not gonna unlock after 200 hours. That was a mistake I made in my video where I said it unlocks after 200 hours, but it'll track at most the past 200 hours of your playthrough. So you can still unlock it if you're only 100 hours in.
Yeah.
All right. And finally with you, Macintyre.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat with Joey here. Again, if anything, it just adds kind of to that replay value of Breath of the Wild, which I wholeheartedly adore. Kind of like another fun fact with that, I think out of all the Zelda games I kind of went through, I think Breath of the Wild has to be one of the most addicting for me. Especially when it first came out, like I just couldn't put it down. I was like, oh, I have all this work to do, but then this thing has... Yeah. So if anything, for the DLC as a whole, if anything, it kind of just adds to the whole concept of replayability. And I'm pretty confident that the next DLC packs will also add on to the whole central theme. If anything, Nintendo has always been a company that puts gameplay first above everything else. So whatever updates they'll be putting off, whatever DLC things will be either be adding on to what Breath of the Wild has to offer, or fine-tuning some criticisms that are out there.
The one piece of DLC that I think is going to bring the most replayability to Breath of the Wild is going to be the hard. If you're a fan of this review, please subscribe and comment below to let me know your thoughts. If you would like to support this channel, please consider supporting on Patreon, where you can watch videos like this early and help me create longer videos like the top 10 best and worst of Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, and the top 5 official Zelda games that have either been cancelled or just went unreleased. Finally, a huge thank you to this month's supporters: George Says Hi, Link Uses the Triforce, Transcendent Sacred Courage, Glenn Cassio, Prey Warrior, Victopedia, Rusty Caulfield, Robert W., Amanda Pina, Lunarium, Chris Gasparin, Harris Priest, Lovable Christie, Key of Time 15, Jerome Major, Daryl Quinnen, Furzin 16, Kadrin, Magic Tech Review, and The Itch Network.